So first, let's just mixing the color. This cat is actually, you know, like a dark brownish color, right? And then you see there's a pattern here. She also has some like kind of like orange here and orange here, right? Like here is more orange than here. So for the pattern, this palette, I don't really. I think there is some color we can already use. For example, in your palette, you should all have this burnt amber, right? So we could use this.
I think I have burnt sienna.
Do you have burnt amber?
Is burnt sienna okay or no?
Burnt sienna is a little. If it's burnt sienna, then mix it with violet.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna use a little bit of this burnt amber. And then we can do it slowly. Just mixing the color slowly. First, see. Burnt amber is this. So this is actually, you know, like it feels like it's that orange is burnt amber if it's like this, right? But actually, you know, her overall pattern is more dark. So this burnt amber, we can add another violet. Here, this violet. Like the complementary color. It's like, so you see, now it's getting like when we add the complementary color, it's getting something like this, but this is still too brown, right? We just need to add pale gray or black. I'm gonna add, do I have pale gray? No, I don't have pale gray here.
Is this pink gray?
Black is also okay. Yeah, so I'm just gonna also add a little bit black. So our goal is to mix the color, you know, like what we see, like try to mix a color that's closer to what it is, right? That's actually like one of the most easy thing. We don't have to invent a new color. We just need to mix something that closer. You see now, right? I just need to add more green, more black. Yeah, I feel this color is about, yeah.
So could you go from burnt sienna to
Burnt
black?
sienna, add black to it. Yeah, at the beginning I also add a little bit of purple, but actually like you don't really have to.
You don't need
you don't.
purple.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't really have to. You can just go directly.
Directly into
Yeah.
the...
Okay, so let's see if it's, we need to, like, I think I'm gonna try with, okay, so you see now my paper is not wet enough. So what I can do is that what we want is that we want, when we put the color in, then the paper, you know, to create those fuzziness of the hair, right? So we will need to, thank you. I will need to write it one more time. Thank you. Yeah. So this class, the difficulty is like water control. It's not really painting. Painting, like when I show it to you, actually you will realize how easy it is to paint it. But because we need to do it wet on wet, so that's the difficulty. Okay, thank you. All right, But now I feel that maybe it will be a little bit, you know, like less, a little bit too much water right now. So you see like how shiny it is. It's better like when it's this shiny, it's better that we wait a little. We wait so that the water can, you know, settle down a little. Because right now, like this, I think once I add in the color, I can actually show you. I think this paper will also do. This is also 100% cotton paper. So you see, like what we want is that we want, you see, once we put in the color, so it will create this kind of, you know, like fuzziness, right? So that basically the water is painting for us, right? We don't have to, you know, do those hair style. But let's see if this is okay. So I'm gonna start from the middle, and this way I can see how, you know, how much like I will see like how much I need to control this, right? Like you can do it slowly, slowly. But you see, that's how you get those fuzziness of, but like, look, I really don't have much water on my brush, right? This is actually easier with this Chinese brush because that you can do like this so that you can tell there's not much water. But with the like watercolor brush, like really try to put very less water. Okay? When you mix, I mean that when you mix, you see that when I mix my color, you see there's really not much water in it, right? But you see that before, like I want to keep the shape of the tail, right? But it, like already you see it's kind of like a, you know, get bigger and bigger. So that's why I start from the middle. Otherwise, so I give it a little bit of space so that it can kind of like spread by itself. And remember, this is a cylinder, right? Think of it as a tube, is a cylinder. And then the light is coming from up. So the cylinder, it will have, like we will put a little bit, you know, when it's wet on wet, we put a little bit more paint this side. So it shows value, right? Like that. That's the tail, okay? And tail actually needs to be a little bit darker, so I can, like when we do the tail, we can just, this side, let's put this side a little bit darker. Okay, that's it. And then now let's do the head. The head, it needs to be lighter than that color. So more of this brown, this burnt amber, less black, right? So you see that how do I mix color? I keep, you know, one here, one there, so that I can change. Like if I need less black, more burnt amber, then I have them here. And then if I need a little bit more black, I just take a little bit more black. So I don't mix them all in a paddle, right? This color looks similar, looks good. Okay, like that. And then this is the same, we just need to do it very careful. Like here, actually, I feel they're a little bit like a, you know, I want to add a little bit, is this my purple? I want all blue. This, I want to add a little bit of ultramarine blue to it. So it's because we need to have both cool and warm. So just give it a little bit variety. Okay, this looks good, but it's a little bit too dark, so, but I don't want to have water too much. It needs to be like very dry. This is okay, actually. So use, you know, just use the tip of your brush to, and then basically we are only painting like here. We are just painting this pattern, this shape of pattern, you know, like that. And then the you know, the white, the light value, the white part, we just leave it white. We don't paint it first. We can come back to do it. Here, a little bit. And then, like here, feels also. So we are just painting, you know, all those like dark that we can see, right? On top of the nose, but like very, very, we need to do it like really control the water, very less water. Very less water. And then the eyes actually we can do it later. Like here, it feels like here. Oh, I have to clean this a little. No water. Okay. So around the face area, it needs to be, it feels like a little bit less. Just a little, like that. And then like here, later we can go back to the ear, but also this side is like feels a little bit like a brownish here, like here, a little bit brownish. These are all just our first layer, so don't worry about it, because like when we do the second layer, all those light colors will look like white. But we need to make it, you know, light enough. So the first layer is a very, very light, very, very light value. Like here also. A little bit. Like, and also here a little bit. See, I'm still leaving, you know, all those like the white that I see, right? Like for example, especially around like here, you see all this white, I'm just leave it. I'm not gonna paint it. And then coming down here, a little bit of the brownish. And then here too, kind of give it, you know, like this. Like if you have the Chinese brush, then use your Chinese brush to give it this, you know, this hair, the feel of hair. If you don't have the Chinese brush, don't worry, then use this, try to also give it, you know, the hair, the feel of hair. Okay, at the end, and then this is okay. That's the face, and then we can add, so that burnt sienna, burnt amber. So this burnt amber actually already, you know, we can use this burnt amber for, you know, this part, the orange part. Like that. And then this part, we can make it a little bit more orange. So just add in a little bit more orange. Just for this part. And also like on the face there, like a part around the eyes, it feels also a little bit more orange. We can already put it there. Just like that. Around the mouth, like here and there, just a little, because we will still come back to paint it. And the eyes, like we can give the initial color of the eyes. We could use just the same color, it's fine. This is orange, this burnt amber mixed with orange. Yeah, this is good. Also, just give the first layer of the eyes. Okay, yeah. So, like, if I go on, can I go on? Can I just finish like maybe the whole, and then I will let you to. So or that I can also wait. Do you want I wait like to let you to finish this and then we do the leg?
Either way is fine with me.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you have the colors mixed. You could just, I bet you could knock that off.
Yeah. Okay. Then I will just finish it, right? Like the first. This is just the first layer. Okay. Okay. So, like, you know, like I put this one here is just because like I feel, you know, her leg feels like there's actually patterns on her leg, but because that she, you know, she's not a, you know, like a perfect cat, so we don't really see the patterns, but we could just take a reference of this, you know, we could give her patterns, make her patterns more visible. Yeah. Okay, so her leg, we can just, I feel like her leg is more of a cooler brown. So like I will add a little bit ultramarine to it to make it a little bit cooler. Kind of, yeah, kind of like, you know, like this, like this. Like this, yeah. So, remember, like very less water, very less water. So that's, you know, like every time I do this, is actually I squeeze the water out. You can do that too. Squeeze the water out, and then we can just. So she has pattern, and there's a pattern. I deliberately leave some of the white spot on her leg. And this is like very dark. Okay, like that. And then one of her toe is a little bit more warmer, so I will just leave it warmer like this. And now I'm just gonna do the second one. Thank you. So like really there is not, yeah. And then this is a little bit more, and here same. There is a brown spots on her this toe, so I'm gonna put it. use this color again. Here. This one here. Yeah. So you see? Oh, and also there's like one behind it. Okay. The first layer actually is just for us to put, to create some form, right? Of this cat. And then the second layer, we will just put details. So the second layer we can do, white on dry, but some places we can still do white on white, but only for a little smaller areas. First, maybe like I want to do the ear, because we didn't paint the ear for the first layer, and then for that ear I feel is also it's also this color, the burnt amber, but with a little bit more pink. So I'm gonna put a bit more this permanent rose, or like the rose red, so it's kind of like this, right? Pretty accurate. And then that ear, we just need to wet that ear locally, only that ear we wet it. Inside, and then we will still like be very, it's less. So you see, this is a normal watercolor brush. What you can do is that you can still try to just press it like that. You can try to use it like a Chinese brush, okay, like that. And you see that when I paint, I just I try to all this hair, I leave it, right? I leave it white. And then here needs a little. Just like that. That will be our ears. And then here needs to be maybe a little bit darker, just here. Okay. And I kind of leave, some hair, shape, right? There, some hair shape, okay? You can give it a little bit hair shape like that. Just, okay. Later, we're gonna also put a little bit background, and then everything will just, the ear just will show the ear. Okay, and now we can just go to put some details. First, all this, this maybe because I don't want any hard edges. So I'm still taking, a brush, and then, for example, I want to make this a little bit the value a little bit darker. I will just, I will still use some water. I put some water first, just that area, and then I put. You can do it this way, or you can also put, maybe put this first, and then use a water brush to soften the edges. This is also okay. This is a little bit too dark. Here. Soften the edges, soften the edges. little bit here. Soften the edges. Here also. Put water first, and then I drop in the color. So this way, both that I will have, you know, soft edge, right? And here too. And then, you see, I'm not using dots. I'm still using lines, right? I just put less water on my brush, but I'm still using lines. Okay, and now let's do, for the, we can come to, you know, like this part of the cat's face, right? We can first, again, just use water. Like here actually is kind of like a sphere, you know, it's rounded, right? So first let's make those small brownish. Make those patterns a bit more. It's one pattern, it's another one. And then if the value is not, you know, is not like, you see if the value is too light, you can just add in value also, make it darker. Or you don't have to. Like here maybe a little bit, because it's, remember, it's round, so like here needs to be, on the side it needs to be a little bit darker. And the pattern. Okay, a little bit like that is okay. And then let's put, you know, like the detail, like the eyes first. This eye needs, okay. And then I will put, so the eye will not finished, but we can like put, we can put, you know, this color first, and then we can come back to do a third layer. This someplace needs to be like very dark.
Excuse me a second.
Yeah. Dark. And then the nose. The nose actually is, the nostril. Okay. And then the nose, we can use this color for the nose. Try to. Okay. Those later we need to paint a little bit more. And the mouth, now the mouth part, let's also put a little bit of this color. Just this side to give it a little bit color. And then use water to soften it, and then give, you know, like all those dark color that we see. Okay. Bottom of her jaw, her like here, also a little bit this color. Here needs to be a little bit darker, a little bit darker. A little bit darker here. Okay. And then, like, if we want, actually, now we are just doing, we can put a few hair, like, you know, like for example, here, a bit of not enough water, a bit more water. It's too much water. So like really, this is really just about how much water you put. Here. And here also just a little bit here, a little bit here. Like that. And here on her side is the same. Just give it a little bit, but this needs to be brownish. Or maybe we just make this darker. I don't like. I changed my mind. Like we don't need to put, because that look very too. It feels it to look too. So I'm just gonna actually just use, you know, big shape instead of small hair shape here. And then this side too. Big shape. Big shape here. Big shape, and then here, small shape. Okay, that's big shape. Okay. Here, a little bit more. Can be a little bit more pink here. I saw that there is a watermark. I try to just, you know, kind of. This is like, I put some color here is because that, you know, here is actually the end, like her face actually turned, right? Mm-hmm. So think of her face as a sphere, you know, as a mm-hmm. sphere. This is the front of her face, is facing that way, but this is actually, you know, it's facing down, right? Mm-hmm. And when it's facing down, it should be like, that's the shadow, right? That's the shadow. So for the shadow, we will use a little bit of, like, I want to use a little bit of this French ultramarine blue, but very light. You can also just mix this with French ultramarine, so it's kind of, you know, like this color, but it's cool color. So here I will just put all of it. And don't worry, because later we're gonna make, you know, the dark part even a little bit dark to show this white. But we need to put this because this is, you know, like we want to show turning of the plane, right? So the cat's actually, you know, is turning at this point. Okay. The ice is dry, so we can give another layer of the ice to make it look like it's glass. I'm just gonna put some water, and then the second layer, like maybe I will just use a little bit. Actually, I need to make it a little bit darker, like that. Yeah, it works. So just this like a darker brownish, I just dab it in. And then this one, same, but this, your eyes needs to be completely dry, right? And then you wet it, and then you just dab in a little, and just let it dry. And then later we just add a white highlight. Highlight is okay. I feel like her face is not, I want to just add. So this is my personal choice. I want to add a little bit color to show it's the turning of the plane. This side too. Okay, like that. Okay, so you see, it's actually like, don't be afraid because it's actually nice once you put a little bit color. Yeah, it's just like right later once this is dry, we just need to go back to make certain place even a little bit darker. But to add those color is the places that I add those color is actually to show form, right? Because think of this as a sphere, I see a little bit of this watermark. I'm just gonna soften the watermark. And I want to make this brownish even a little bit. Let's just give it a little bit more color. Give it a little bit more color here and then here. Okay, and later we need to also make that part a little bit darker. There's a part that should be, it's too dark. Oh, this is too dark. Like here. Needs to be darker, and then like here maybe also a bit darker.
Do you find that you usually like have 3 or 4 layers? Is you think like going back over, is it like 3 or 4 times usually?
Yeah, it's because that's actually because that, you know, like my first layer is not dark enough. But sometimes if my first layer is already dark enough, then maybe like 3 layers will be okay. But you will need at least 3 layers.
Okay.
Yeah, at least 3 layers. The first layer, you just, because watercolor, you need to paint from big shape to small shape. So your first layer is, you always, you know, you put colors and values to the big shape. And then you will paint, you know, smaller details, yeah. And adjust, always keep adjusting those values, because right now you see after I put, you know, like this darker, then the rest is not dark enough, you know, so that I need to come back to make, you know, like the other thing darker. But my choice is also I can just don't make this part this dark, you know. So it's always is your choice. For example, like I want to come back to put, you know, like the patterns a little bit more dark, yeah. And here the leg actually is the same. Now it's not dark enough, so I will just wet it again and then make it a little bit like darker, but not all, just some place. So you see, like when I do this, actually, it's quite nice. Just, and also to give it a little bit more detail, and also it's more defined. You see, it feels like it's not. There's depth to it, right? There's depth to it. That's why this you cannot just like one layer finish it. It's always like you put one layer and then you let it dry and then you wet it again and then you do a second layer. And then this side is the same. But your second layer is always darker value than your first layer. So you give it, it's either more defined or, you know, darker value. You see? Much nicer, right? And then later, and also, oh yeah, I feel like her tail needs to also be put. So for her tail, I will also wet it. I will just wet, you know, inside of her tail. And then I will just put, you know, a little bit, you know, here. You see? Just like that is okay. Yeah. And then later, once I'm gonna put a background around it. Yeah. Okay. So let's do the second layer.
There's hope.
Yeah.
need to start cleaning out well.
Okay, yeah. So I used some water. With this blue, actually, it looks pretty nice. And then like that. And then the other side is the same. Also spray water first. And then the other side we can actually, I'm thinking maybe two color. The other side we can use a little bit rose red. Is this nice? Yeah. Okay. Rose red mixed with those cobalt blue, so it's not too. It's kind of like a violet. Yeah.
That is really good. Really good.
Like here needs to be. We need to leave those like close. And then I'm gonna also put a little bit, because I feel a little bit violet here and there on the other side, so it's not. Okay. And then it needs to be on the floor, it needs to be darker, there's shadow, right? So I will make this dark. Like that. Okay, so after this will be just the background. See, after we add the background, it's nice, right?
Yeah, it is very good.
And then once the background is dry, we can paint a little bit more. We can give color, a little bit color for the clothes, and just add a bit of detail here and there. And then I think that we can done. So for example, like here, this area, her belly part, this is facing down, right? So this part needs to, like, there should be shadow on this part. I can just use, you know, this violet color for the shadow. Here is shadow, but I put some water at first so that I'm not gonna have a hard edge. I will still have a soft edge for this. Soft edge here. And then like this side actually, because that fabric feels a little bit transparent, so like you could still see the color of her behind it, right? So we can just still use this color. Actually, this color, like we are not gonna use a lot of different colors. We will just use this color, the mix that we did, and we will still do it red on red. Just to make it less complicated. Oh, just be careful. Okay. Like I want to, now let's put those pink, pink, still try to not have, you know, like hard edges. Later, I think that I need to soften the edge here and there. It's okay. And certain places needs to be even darker. Like this is violet, so like here. Later, we also need to paint a little bit fault here and there. See, the fault I'm also just using violet. But here needs to be a bit darker. Maybe more of, so it's not just all just violet. Here is blue violet. Bye. Yeah, I think like this, like once it dry, I haven't put the fold yet. So once it dry, I need to put a few fold on her ruffle, you know, here and there. Yeah, just, and maybe like I can give a little bit more detail. You know, just a little bit, a few more, like even darker spots. I'm still, you know, like put water first and then add the paint. So everything is with a soft edge. Here. So right now I'm just gonna, you know, give, you know, detail here and there. Patterns needs to be overall is darker. Oh, this, yep, it's fine. Mistake, but it's fine. And here, to show that her clothes is white, I will just make her place, her leg, you know, like someplace even darker. Otherwise, we need to show the contrast, the value contrast, right? So, so the white will look more white. Here is the same. Here I want to make it darker. So we could see the dress. It's nice, right? And then this side is the same. So is this. I will make this place a little bit darker to show the dress. And then there are some patterns. The patterns always I give them, you know, soft edge, someplace soft edge, someplace hard edge. So it's that way it's more interesting than, you know, all hard edge or all soft edge. Here needs to be darker. And then here needs to be darker. This is darker. This is hard edge and even darker value. Small details. Here. Here's the same. And this, there's one toe, it's like very dark. Just according to what I see. Okay, I think that it's actually there's a smaller pattern here too. Like that. This leg needs to be is behind it. Needs to be a little bit darker. Okay. So I think and then at the end I want to also make, you know, like just give a little bit color. It's, for example, her toe. I know that it's not like very, but I want to make the color more saturated for her toe here and there. Otherwise, I feel that, you know, like she is too greenish. Like that. And then the last will just be put whiskers. Oh no, we still need to just add, right now it's dry, yeah? So just, we need to add a few like this. I think this color is a dark, I'm using a dark green, no, a dark blue for her, for the falls, like here and there. Doesn't have to be exactly like, but like someplace. And also not too much hard edge, because falls are definitely not hard edge. Here. Here's one. So you just choose to show a few is okay. You don't have to show them all. Use a water brush to soften the edge for this one. And there. Soften the edge, like a water brush to soften the edge is actually, it's a very good technique, I feel. Certain place. Okay. And then my last, like here, I will put a little bit blue here. Because I want to show the form, it's a tube. It's a tube, right? So the form changed to, you know, this side. Okay. Yeah, like that. The last will be, I think it's almost done. And I still want to, last will just be for me to add a few details with white paints. For like, I think it needs to, the cat needs to have whiskers. That whisker is something very important. Use a very, very thin brush. And then, let's see. Some whisker will not show. It's because that our like a background, the fur and stuff, our value are actually not very dark. So when that happens, you know, the white paint will not show. But anyway, we will just, because for the one that it will show then. Here. You know, like, oh, this is too thick. The cat's whisker, I think it also like there some and also like here I want to just add a few hair here. Here. Just a little bit of white detail here and there. And also here I want to give it. Okay. Just here and there. Even the like this part, the ear part, this place will show, the other place will not show. Maybe I think it's almost done. I'm gonna also add, just make add more like a darker value for the shadow, because right now I feel that she is not standing on the ground, to make this darker. And this should be all the ground, right? Just a darker value. Try to. Maybe this color is not good, so well, I think I can still save it. Use a violet color. This color. This all needs to, just to show the ground. These are the ground. No hard edges. What do you think? I think